an unnecessarily large early 80s boombox. Was made by Magnavox, I believe. Okay, man. When Philips owned them. I'm filming this with an old early 2000s Vivitar 6 megapixel camera. They marketed the camera under their Series 1 label. Vivitar had really good Vivitar Series 1 lens line, which was you can't get them anymore the way you can't get lenses at all anymore, pretty much. If you can find a good one, they cost a fortune. So, but they were banking on their reputation with the Series 1 line, and this camera was supposed to be like, oh, it's the Series 1. Well, you know, it's just another kind of insipid digital camera made by yet another company jumping on the bandwagon. But I'm going to try to photograph this thing with several different older digital cameras, and then I'll go ahead and finish up with my phone, which is 4K, and you can see the difference. But I'm not going to play anything on here so I don't get any copyright strikes, but I can do this. That's enough of that. Anyway, this thing is really large, and it's wood. These speakers are actually wood. The cassette player crapped out a long time ago. I don't think the door even opens. It's just really crusty. And you're not going to get good detail from this camera, but it's quite impressive, and it weighs, I'd say, probably close to 20 pounds. So it's not exactly transportable. I mean, you can lug it around if you're in dire straits, but no. I've tried it. It's quite awkward and bulky and heavy, so I wouldn't recommend doing it. But alright, I'll go ahead and move on to the next camera. EasyShare DX7630. It's a 6.1 megapixel camera, but it's got a Schneider lens in it, which is Kodak was in bed with Schneider for a long time, just like Sony was in bed with Zeiss, how you pronounce it. Schneider was always one of my favorite brands of lenses, and this camera is no exception because it has a really good lens on it and takes excellent pictures. I'm playing more religious music just to show what this boombox sounds like. I can't play any rock and roll. Always going on about copyright strikes, but it's a very real thing if you film for YouTube. Instagram's even worse, boy. They'll slap you down after about 2 seconds. But anyway, still trying to get my thoughts together here. You can see it's got quite the slider array on here. My understanding is this boombox is kind of considered a grail. It actually was made by Philips when Philips had bought Magnavox, and it was made in Belgium, and it's quite nicely made. It's got line inputs on the back. It's got 3 different ways to run it. It's got a line cord. You can use 10 D-cell batteries. and it's also got a 12-volt wall wart input, so I thought that was kind of impressive. I've actually used it to play CD players and stream off of it off my phone. That sounds pretty good. I'm not going to get that much into detail on this. I'm not really showcasing this boombox. I'm more showcasing these quality of these cameras. Now, I bought this Easy Share probably 12 years ago at a yard sale, and it had already been 3 or 4 years since it was new, so it's probably about 15 years old. The problem with these older cameras, this old, is you can't use anything larger than a 512K card on them. And I don't know, it's getting kind of hard to find 512K card, or not K, 512 meg cards. It's getting really hard to find those now. There's like a million. You can get 1 gig, 4 gig, 32 gig, but the smaller cards are kind of getting, people are starting to use them for the older cameras. So anyway, just letting you know, I'm just showing you. Once again, I'm not being the most vocal. It's early. I haven't gotten my brain together yet, so maybe I should just stop talking, huh? Let you enjoy the goodness of the religious music and look at the flashy, blinky lights. Alright, this is a Kodak Easy Share. What is this thing? C1 450. It's a 14 megapixel, but it's only recording in 640 by 480. But you'll notice the quality's gotten a lot better. This is a relatively recent camera. I don't think it's more than 6 or 7 years old. It uses a larger memory card. It's got the usual rechargeable battery. That's one of the problems with all these old digital cameras, is the ones that have the built-in rechargeable batteries. As they get older, they don't keep a charge as long, obviously, and you have to keep charging the batteries up to use them. I remember, I'm old enough to remember, you could get, the earlier digital cameras would take 4 AA's or 4 AAA's. I've seen them with 2 AA's and 4 AAA's, but this one uses a rechargeable battery, so you have to have all these battery chargers for each one of the cameras, and you have to keep all the cards separate, and it's really quite a lot of work to run older digital cameras. And I'm only saying this to you because I'm doing it and you probably aren't. And if you start accruing older digital cameras because you like using them, you have to keep in mind that you're going to have to keep them all up, or they're just wasted junk in a box. Because when you go to use them, the batteries are dead or the cards are missing and you don't have the right cards. So, and it always sounds like I'm complaining about stuff like this, but it's amazing how much cables on everything. They all use different cables. They all use different levels of batteries, different levels of cards. There was no standardization whatsoever. Anyway, so that was that rant on that thing. I have to talk about something, don't I? I mean, you can stand here all day and listen to the church music, but I don't think that would be very interesting to you. But you can see the quality on this is much better. And I can get better on the crust on this thing. There it is, Magnavox. There's the name. It's a D8643 Superpower Compo Sound Machine. I guess you can look it up if you want to, but I'm just using it for a demo model because I'm actually supposed to be filming audio stuff and I'm doing a camera thing here. But anyway, get the idea. missing a knob right here. Shall never find, ever, ever. You know, I love restoration videos, and I really have respect for people that do them, as long as they're actually restoring them, not just cleaning the mud off of them. But to restore something requires a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of looking around for parts that basically don't exist. And I'm just kind of not into that, so I probably would have the time to do it, but I certainly wouldn't have the patience to do it. But I do have a lot of respect for people that do it, and they film it and they show you how they do it. It's much more enjoyable than having to get involved in that. I would have to break this thing down into 300 pieces, clean it all off with dishwashing liquid, and polish the clear plastic areas, and find the knobs, and replace all the capacitors, put new belts in the cassette player, and I just don't have the patience for that. I'm sorry. This thing works. I enjoy listening to it. That's been one of my themes on my videos, is if I have something that works, I tend to enjoy it in the state I got it in and use it till it dies. But I do try to take care of these things. I do clean them every once in a while. I do run them. I do inspect them for any kind of damage. Alright,